Hello, welcome to my channel. I thought I'd do something a bit fun today. It's going to be another one of those real-time writing challenges, and I am going to attempt to write a very short story, maybe 200 words, 300 words, within 5 minutes, based on random words that the random word generator hurls up. So in order to do this, I'm going to split screen, hopefully, if I can get this to work. Or do picture in picture, so you'll see me typing and then you'll see what I'm typing at the same time. Right, and here we go. So the first thing to do is to go to the random word generator. Here we are. Da, da, da. Now, for a very short one, I'm going to have 3 random words, and they are going to be dome, mysterious, and faith. Wow, okay. So let's write them down so don't forget them. Dome, mysterious, whoops, don't know how to spell it, and faith. Okay, right. So I have an image in my head already. So the pilgrim, whose name could not be known until he had read it upon the surface of the dome. There we go, got the dome in. I've spelt pilgrim wrong. Clambered across the rocky foreshore. Good word, I like it. He was just days away from his naming ceremony and adulthood at 15 years of age. So I think we have we have here a science fiction story of some sort. I think it's going to be a dystopian one, or at least a post-apocalyptic one. Okay. The entrance to the dome lay under one of the dunes, which sprawled year by year and required a huge effort to push back. Next year, he would spend his first few months of months of adulthood helping the archaeologist clan, guild, better, clear the shore so that the dome would remain accessible. Oops, nobody knew who the mysterious, now we've got that word in, Saint Paul was, or what had caused his martyrdom. But the dome, situated in what had once been Britain, I'm going to spell that wrong deliberately, Britain, capital, and it's not Britain's capital, it's England's capital, but in this future, no, I'll change that because my dad will get angry. England, I'll just spell it that way, was so massive that he must surely have been a great leader. This is getting too long. Dome is serious faith, all right. the nameless, oops, helpful if I had a name for him, but I can't now. The nameless pilgrim's faith required him, required him to crawl, still wet from the ocean's embrace. He's obviously swum there, up to the steps which led to the door to the dome. He did so, feeling the salt sting the cuts upon his knees and palm of his hand and hands. Two tall, brusque, leather-clad guards stood at the top of the steps where the dome emerged from the dunes. State your business. One shouted, brandishing his pike. I come of age, I replied. The pilgrim replied, in time-honored fashion. It thinks I'm American, that's why it's highlighting that so-called misspelling, because I've been writing an article for an American website, but I've no time to fix that. Okay, I come of age, in a time-honored fashion. See, here's my mark. The pilgrim opened one bloody palm, and there, evident to all, was this sign of the scarab. The soldiers, the guards, stepped aside, and the dark rectangle of the dome entrance opened before me. It's funny how it isn't highlighted odd as a misspelling. Alright, so this is getting too long. How am I going to finish it? No, it's not I. The pilgrim, unaided by the guards, can't use clambered, already used that, stood stiffly upright and walked forward into the dark, flooded dome interior. Once more it was time to swim. Following the shaft of light that the sun made through the door's rectangle. In the immense, cold, interior, the pilgrim could hear, the flutter of dark, unseen wings. Bats, no doubt, who had found some other entrance. It took our pilgrim the best part of 20 minutes to reach the far wall where the shaft of light hit the crumbling painted surface of the dome. There, 3 feet from the ground, the pilgrim at last spied his name on the graffitied wall where thousands of now long dead Loudoners had written their names. And now I've got to think of his name, which could take some time. But I haven't got time. I've already taken probably more than 5 minutes. I haven't looked at the clock. It would be nice if there was a twist. But I can't think of anything that's not too corny. Just going to go with something like simple. Marsha, he said, rolling the 2 syllables over his salt-parched tongue. He did not know whether that was a male or female name, nor did it matter. It had once belonged to a martyr of the great collapse, and now it was his own. Satisfied, and relieved, Marsha, the pilgrim, the adult, the now named, rolled onto his back and began the long, steady backstroke towards the morning light. And there we have it. That's my story. Let me just read it back and see if it makes any sense. 428 words. What I need to name it. I'm going to call it just the Dome. The Dome. The Dome. The pilgrim, whose name could not be known until he had read it upon the surface of the dome, clambered across the rocky foreshore. He was just days away from his naming ceremony and adulthood, at 15 years of age. The entrance to the dome lay under one of the dunes, which sprawled year by year and required a huge effort to push back. Next year, he would spend his first months of adulthood helping the Archaeologists Guild clear the shore so that the dome would remain accessible. Nobody knew who the mysterious St. Paul was, or what had caused his martyrdom, but the dome, situated in what had once been England's capital, was so massive that he must surely have been a great leader. The nameless pilgrim's faith required him to crawl, still wet from the ocean's embrace, up to the steps which led to the door to the dome. He did so, feeling the salt sting the cuts upon his knees and hands. 2 tall, brusque, leather-clad guards stood at the top of the steps where the dome emerged from the dunes. "State your business," one shouted, brandishing his pike. "I come of age," the pilgrim replied in time-honoured fashion. "See, here is my mark." The pilgrim opened one bloody palm, and there, evident to all, was the sign of the scarab. The guard stepped aside, and the dark rectangle of the dome entrance opened before him, not me. The pilgrim, unaided by the guard, stood stiffly upright and walked forward into the dark flooded dome interior. Once more it was time to swim, following the shaft of light that the sun made through the door's rectangle. In the immense cold interior, the pilgrim could hear the flutter of dark, unseen wings. Bats, no doubt, who had found some other entrance. It took our pilgrim the best part of 20 minutes to reach the far wall, where the shaft of light hit the crumbling, painted surface of the dome. There, 3 feet from the ground, the pilgrim at last spied his name, on the graffitied wall where thousands of now dead Londoners had written their names. "Marcia," he said, rolling the 2 syllables over his salt-parched tongue. He did not know whether that was a male or female name, nor did it matter. It had once belonged to a martyr of the Great Collapse, and now it was his own. Satisfied and relieved, Marcia, the pilgrim, the adult, the now named, rolled onto his back and began the long, steady backstroke towards the morning light. And there you go. I think there might be something in that story, something worth expanding. I would do another pass, obviously another few passes to improve it, maybe lengthen it, and yeah, there could well be a story there. What I'd probably try and do is hide a little bit better what the dome actually is, and maybe I would call Paul instead of St. Paul, and then it would be a little bit of a sort of Battle of a Planet of the Apes kind of story. And maybe I'd think of a better name than Marcia, or something that isn't a name but people might have written out of desperation, which he thinks is a name. I think I used Marcia because a colleague of mine, a producer who's working on a project I'm trying to get made, it's her birthday today and she's called Marcia, so that's probably why I thought of it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that, a little weird insight into how my brain works. And I actually, I can honestly say I don't know where this came from. All I can say is, when I saw Dome, Mysterious and Faith, Dome and Faith immediately called to mind St. Paul's, because I live in London and St. Paul's has a massive dome. And Mysterious just made it, well, how would I render that mysterious? And, well, let's say we were thousands of years in the future, London's collapsed, the sea has reclaimed large parts of it, and the dome is now a sort of relic of a bygone ancient archaeological period. I flung in various strangenesses like the Archaeologists Guild and the Scarab and the guards, and tried to give it a feeling of that there's enough, history behind this act of pilgrimage that everyone must go through, so that we're clearly a long time away from when St. Paul's was an active cathedral. So I'll probably work on this and maybe send it somewhere, we'll see. Or maybe I'll even read it on the channel in the proper full version. But anyway, as I say, I hope that was helpful or interesting, and see you again very soon. Goodbye.